Good morning, guys. Okay, so I have the basis of this video written out on my paper that I wrote while I was in BMT, which we'll get to in a second. But it's kind of cheesy and I don't know if I love it. So I'm gonna go off of this. So if you see me looking down a lot, that's why, because I'm like looking at my notes and stuff. But I don't exactly know if I'm going to follow it word for word. And the future videos of this, I have like bullet point notes, which is a lot better. I can like touch on different things and it's not as detailed. But this week that I'm gonna be going over, I did not write a lot just because it was crazy. It was crazy, and I just, even like what I did write, I didn't put the date. So a lot of this, I'm not sure what day it happened. I just know like this is what happened. Whereas starting with week 1, all the way up until the end, I wrote the date down. So I knew when exactly things had happened. So let's get started. For those of you who have never seen any of my videos before, welcome to my channel. My name is Maya. I am 21 years old. I have a 1.5-year-old daughter. Her name is Naomi, and I have a wonderful fiance named Evan. And the two of them are back at home. I am here at my technical school right now. I joined the Air Force like almost 3 years ago, but it's a completely different story. But so I just went through my basic training and now I'm here at my technical school, and I just wanted to go through everything that happened during basic training, especially because, first of all, COVID happened. So a lot of the videos that I had been watching before weren't accurate. Not that mine will be accurate necessarily, but it's a step in the right direction. I can be that next stepping stone to bridge what happened a few months ago when COVID was more of an issue than it is now, when they're starting to lessen things up, and just like help bridge the gap, I guess. And my basic training experience, guys, was completely insane, and you'll see that in my later videos. But for now, we're gonna start with 0 week. This is going to be part of a series that I'm making, which goes through the weeks of my basic military training. This is week 0. So the way the weeks work is it starts on a Sunday and goes through Saturday. But for basic training, we usually get there on a Tuesday night, I believe. Like you leave Tuesday. It depends on if you're active, guard, or reserves. Depends where you're from. I mean, one girl and our flight came a day late, so it's all based on your scenario. But typically, you get there on a Tuesday night, and your like first day of training starts Wednesday morning. And so that's considered 0 week, is from that first day that you get there up until that Sunday. So let me see. Oh yeah, and I'm just throwing this disclaimer out. This is my personal story as an individual. I'm not speaking, or I am speaking for myself, not on behalf of the Air Force, and anything that is said during these videos is my personal opinion and does not reflect the opinion of the Air Force. Just got to put that out there. It's my personal story, guys. So not everyone's story is going to be the same, especially with what happened during basic. It was crazy. Let's see, what else? Everyone who goes through BMT will have a different experience based on their background, who their flight is, and what's going on in the world. Obviously, because of COVID, you know, my experience was different. I also went in the winter time, so I was on the winter schedule and not on the summer schedule. So RPT was in the afternoon instead of early in the morning. I think we also woke up an hour later, but I'm not 100% sure on what exactly the different schedules are and what they entail. I just know that this is my story. So I left for basic in the middle of January 2021. My flight was scheduled for, I think, like 3 p.m. I wanted a later flight because I heard that if you take the earlier flight, they ship you there and you kind of just sit. So I wanted to just get there, go to bed, that kind of a thing. I know while I was in basic training, we did see a lot of flight or like new people coming in, and they would come in all day long. So I'm not exactly sure what they do the first day if you do get in early, if it's just like unpack and like wait for other people to get there. I'm not exactly sure, but I know the majority of people get there in the evening. So I would definitely suggest getting the later flight so you can get there, unpacked, shower, go to bed. I had one layover in Atlanta, Georgia for about an hour and a half-ish. And then we arrived in San Antonio at about, I think, like 8:39 p.m. their time. I'm in my house is Eastern time zone. So like even now I'm still in the San Antonio time zone where we're an hour behind them. So when we got off the plane, we basically went baggage claim area, and there was a military stand, and we signed in, we got our dorm number, and we all lined up and then got on the bus and made the 20-30 minute drive to our base. And then the first thing that we did once we got on to base is we stayed on the buses, and they came in and they briefed us on COVID. They went over all the different symptoms you could have, and they took our temperatures, and if anyone was experiencing any symptoms, they stayed on the bus and they got put into PUI, which is person under investigation, which doesn't mean that you have COVID. It just means that you have the symptoms of COVID and they want to keep you separated. I'm not 100% sure, but I think those people may have gotten to keep their phones, but obviously I was not in that group, so I don't know, so don't take my word for it. I just heard that some people do, some people don't. I know if you actually get COVID, I heard most of those people got their phones, but if you're just under investigation or you don't test positive and you're just quarantining, you don't get your phone. But again, don't quote me on that. It's all dependent on your MTIs. And so let's see. So the rest of us got off the bus. We lined up in front of the PRC. Don't know what it stands for. That's all I know. That's the building name. And so we got all lined up. We dropped our bags down. We got our Air Force issued backpack, which I don't have right now. I think I want to do a BMT haul and show you guys everything that I got that I still have. But yeah, so we got our BMT issued backpack with a bunch of stuff in it. And then we went around to these, they had these giant containers where they had like your soap and shampoo, your flip-flops, your fleece jacket, your ECWW, what else? Oh, you got an MRE, just a bunch of that stuff. And so you open your backpack's on the front and they just stuff it in there. So then you go back, you line back up with your civilian luggage, and then you take it, and we ran over to our squadron, which thankfully was just across the drill pads. We didn't have to march all the way over to where the other older buildings are. I was in Disneyland. Disneyland is the newest buildings. Right now there's 4 of them in the area, and then there's also what we call Alcatraz, which are the old buildings, which are sporadic throughout the base. So there's some like to the north of us, and then there was also some to the west, but those were like over a bridge, and like it was a whole thing. So those ones are much more spread out, so I don't know how exactly it works for them if they have to march the entire way there. I'm assuming. Good luck. But I think they're building more Disneyland buildings, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I know they are doing construction right now. Let's see what else. So we got our stuff. We went over to our squadron. We got with the rest of our flight. There were 4 girls there when I first got there, and then there were 6 of us, including me, I believe, coming in from our flight. So we got there. We ate our MRE. I barely ate because I was just so stressed out. And then we had to turn in our phones, and we went upstairs to the dorm. We unpacked and unwrapped all the stuff that they gave us, and we double checked to make sure that they gave us everything on our list. And then we showered and went to bed. It was a cold shower. It sucked. That night I had a 1-hour EC shift. EC stands for entry controller. Basically my job was to make sure no one tried to commit suicide. No one was sick, and no one tried to leave. And no one tried to like enter the dorm. So they also like check the bathrooms every hour. They check and make sure all the girls are there. It's just something you do. So then the next morning, everything was a blur, obviously. So I volunteered as a chow runner. Everyone told me not to do that, but I was really nervous and I did it anyway. It really wasn't that bad, guys. It's just memorizing like 2 small paragraphs, and you just have to go up there, be confident, and know your facing movements. It's really not that hard. Personally, I would suggest doing it and volunteering for it. It definitely helps you practice your facing movements, and it definitely helps your confidence and just making yourself feel comfortable. You just have to fake it till you make it. Just seem confident and you'll be fine. And then we got a 3-minute phone call that night to basically say, hey, I'm safe, I love you, and then give them our address. So I was a mess. The first week I would wake up nauseous and freezing with chills just because of the stress of the situation. And I barely ate that first week. I ate because I knew I needed to eat, but like I was nauseous the entire time. That week we also got our first COVID test. 3 girls in our flight tested positive, all asymptomatic. And then the morning of the COVID test, 2 other girls had symptoms, so they got moved to PUI. But that was different. We also got issued what we call an Easy Pay card, which is basically, ours had $400 that came out of our first paycheck, given to us so that we could pay for the backpack and all the supplies in it, and then anything else that we needed over the next few weeks before our pay started coming in. Oh, the Easy Pay card also helps pay for haircuts if you're a guy. I didn't need to get a haircut, obviously. The Easy Pay card can also only be used on base at BMT because it's a special card reader and it's the whole thing. And then our brother flight got quarantined because they had more than 5 positive cases. So they basically locked off of our stairwell, so only the brother flight could use it. We had to go to the other stairwell, and one of our MTIs also got COVID, so she was out for a week or 2. I forget how long exactly. And then we also got our duffel bags that week with all the clothes for like our PT gear. We didn't get our OCPs yet, and we didn't get our blues. That's a separate week, but we got all of our PT gear, and we also got our green OCP shirts. I did not get mine until later that week or until week 1. I don't remember which, but I got mine a little later. I had a urine analysis test that night to test for any pregnancies and for drugs. And that one we had to be watched. They had people come to our flight, to our dorm, to do it because we were in ROM, which is rest in motion, so we couldn't go anywhere. So they had to come to us. Then the next day, we went to our health clinic and we got a second urine analysis test for different STDs, and we got our blood drawn, and we got 4 shots. I hate shots, guys, and I hate getting my blood taken. It's not bad. I can do it, but I really don't like doing it. And then in 0 week, we also learned our right and left face, about face. We did PT for the first time at the end of the week, which wasn't that bad. I actually really enjoyed PT, although I didn't get to do it that much, but I will, again, separate video. So overall, I was super homesick. I was anxious, and I was depressed. So, which I'll talk about later. But the biggest tip of advice I can give you guys for 0 week is remember your why. Why you entered the Air Force, why you're there right now. Just figure out what is going to keep you guys going and staying strong in a very difficult time. Looking back now, it seems like a dream or a nightmare. Like, I said dream the other day, and I was like, nah, it was a nightmare. Like, you're not wrong, but like, it's not that bad. You just need to push yourself through it, and just stay strong. Let's see. Oh, the other thing that helped me through was realizing that the quickest way out of BMT is to graduate, because if you want to get sent home, you get put in med hold for possibly months on end before they boot you out. So just, you're there already, just stick with it and give it 120% and just get through. Just keep pushing. It's always just looking forward to the next chow time, don't count the days, you count the weeks and you count the chows, because days feel so long. It's ridiculous. And then just remember, I know it feels like forever, guys, but once you make it through, you will be a stronger person. So that's it for this video. Again, this was my 0 week. It's not a lot of information. It was only a few days. I do have more videos coming. I want to go through the rest of the weeks with you guys, but that's it for now. If you guys have enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead. You can push it down in the comments below, and I will look at that. And stay tuned for more videos coming your way. That's about it. So thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.